If you enjoy practicing the most beautiful art form in the world, which of course is photography, you probably set some productivity goals for yourself. How many days a week or month you want to go out for a shoot, how many images you want to produce, how many social media uploads you want to make, how many videos you want to produce, stuff like that. And if you are anything like me, achieving those goals can often be a very difficult task. Well, fear not, my friend, because in this video I'm going to provide you with some productivity hacks for photographers. So let's go. I am an amateur photographer because I have a job and photography is not my main core business, so I do not consider myself a pro. So I think I fall under the category of being an amateur, which I don't really give a shit about. But with being an amateur photographer, there are some pros and cons. One of the pros is that I don't have to rely on making money, so I don't have to produce anything I don't want. The downside of being an amateur is that photography often will be lower on your priority lists. And if you watched my recent Ricoh GR3X video, I talked a little bit about this as well. My family comes first, after that my job, because I do still work full-time as a police officer in Rotterdam as well. And below that, there is photography. And the problem with this is, even though I consider photography to be a huge part of my life, this is often the first thing that falls off when I don't have any time. And this week is a very good example of this, because at the start of this year I set the goal for myself to produce at least one video about photography every week. And this week I simply don't have time. Work is busy, kids is busy, my son still doesn't really sleep, so I'm tired. All the excuses not to make a video this week are there, but I decided not to give in, to stay on the grind and to create this video about being productive for you, because this is something I struggle with myself. So let's dive into the first hack. One of the first things that for the past couple of months really helped me with staying productive as a photographer. Shoot on your commute. Yeah, of course, we all move to different certain areas, and if you just take a couple of minutes more while you are commuting just to take some nice photos and to consider your travel or wherever you're going as a photography journey as well, you start seeing new things, new compositions. Your travel may even become a little bit nicer. You might enjoy it more, but this is also a great way to just snap off a couple of photos. And I also find that if you are implementing photography on days or on moments you are not really there for photography, that's when you get better as a photographer, because that's when you start seeing things you normally don't see. That's when you really have to be quick about adjusting your settings and finding the right composition. And I think this is a very nice way to get better and to stay productive as a photographer. So shoot on your commute. Small sessions. This is something I talked about in the Ricoh GR3 video as well, because I used to go out for a specific moment, couple of hours, maybe a full day dedicated for photography. I didn't want any distractions, and with life as it is right now, I just cannot do that. So I decided small sessions are better than no sessions, and I think going about for just 15 minutes or so, maybe in your own local area, I think this is good. And I think maybe it's even better than shooting for a full day, because photography takes a lot of energy, a lot of concentration. I think in the first 15 or 20 minutes you still have a fresh and a keen eye, and when you travel several hours to a different location, you spend the entire day there, maybe you tend to get a little bit overprikkeld, as they say in the Netherlands. Too much prikkels. How do you say prikkels? Overprikkeld. Engels. Overstimulated, of course. You tend to get a little bit overstimulated. And if you keep it short and sweet, you don't have this problem. So if you really have a busy week and you cannot go out to shoot, or for some reason you just don't feel like it, you probably have a lot of old photos still laying around, a lot of bins you haven't looked into for the last couple of years, and there's nothing wrong with going back to your old photos, editing them in a new way with all the new knowledge you have, and just post them again, or just keep them for yourself, or look at them and learn from them as well. What I'm trying to say is, don't neglect your old photos, and this is a really good thing to do when for some reason you just don't feel like going out to shoot. Just dive into the computer, look at your old compositions, see what you could have done better. You will probably recognize, especially photos from a couple of years back, that you come to the conclusion that you really have evolved as a photographer, and that's something you don't really recognize during your week-to-week shoots. But when you look at your old photos, then you will get some positive feedback in the fact that you think, wow, I would totally make that photo better now than I did back then, probably. But not neglecting your old photos, and on some days or weeks just diving back into your old stuff, that's a good thing to do. I started this video by talking about how I consider myself an amateur and not a pro. And I think those terms don't really apply anymore, and I think you shouldn't really care about these types of terminology. But what I do really want to emphasize is the fact that even if you are a hobby photographer, then you should still consider it as a business. And what I mean by that is that you really have to take time and to invest not only money but also time and effort into growing your photography business, making sure your presence both online and offline is good, and really create time for photography. And I think this is something that is really important, even though there's nobody telling you what you have to do. If you are into photography and if you want to improve as a photographer, then you should consider it as something you have to put your effort into. There is something called active learning. That's when you are learning while you are doing the thing you are learning about. But there's also something called passive learning, and that is learning from others, or learning even while you are not practicing that thing you are learning about itself. For instance, if you look at other photographers' photo books, for instance, this amazing piece of work by my friend Sean Tucker. I bought it because I think it's very important to support your fellow creators, and I think it is a work of art. I really enjoy not only the paper and the way it's like a magazine book. It's not really a hardcover book, but it's way more than a magazine. And I think the work Sean Tucker produces, besides being a great inspirator and a very nice content creator, but also just as a photographer, is just, look at this, is just amazing. This is the 2021 edition, and I really would have wanted to buy all of his books, but well, this is the first one and it won't be the last. Buying other photographers' books, seeing their work, studying their work, and trying to comprehend the compositions and the technique they use, and trying to figure out or try to have an understanding on why you like what they do, that's something that will help your photography immensely. And I think, even though I'm not really a fan of Instagram, and you will see me posting on a fairly regular basis, but I don't really have that connection on Instagram, for instance, which I have right now with you guys on YouTube. I think Instagram is a great way to look at other photographers' work. Last but not least, time management. Something Casey Neistat is very good at. If you haven't seen his hilarious video about the way he plans his week, it's linked right here, or at least it should pop up right now. Yeah, there it is. And I think this is something we can all get better at. And I am not an advocate for planning your days as full as you can and being all productive, because your mental sanity and being healthy and happy is way more important than complying to all the bars set by other people. But if you set some goals and you want to produce some stuff and you feel like you want to do whatever you want to do, then that's where time management is a really important thing. And with regards to Instagram, I found the app called Later. Later is an app where you can plan your Instagram posts, which is very easy. So what I sometimes do is I just take 7 photos and I pre-set the times and dates where they should go online with Later. It takes me an hour or half an hour, and then I don't have to think about Instagram during that week. And small things like that, really picking the moments for photography, squeezing it into all the little corners of time, planning what you want to shoot, where you want to shoot, planning when you want to post, and really think about photography as something that is something to be nourished and something that you have to put time in order to let it grow. And I think that's a very healthy way to look at your own photography. So let me know in the comments below, what are the things you do to stay productive as a photographer? Do you have any hacks or methods or tactics to stay productive and to keep on shooting and producing? I'm very interested to hear your opinion about this, because I am still learning and trying to discover this thing called photography and develop myself and my own skill set as a photographer. So let me know in the comments below. I'm interested to hear your opinion. So that's it for this week's video. I hope you like it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your way out, because I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel and it would really be appreciated. I'll see you next week, and then we'll be out hitting the streets doing some actual photography. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Peace.